It's Wednesday, May 7th, 2025. Thanks for joining me today. So much to talk about. So much is going on. And, if you've asked yourself this question, what is going on? A lot of people saying they're confused. Join the club, because I don't think anybody really knows what's going on. And I think everybody is confused with what is going on. You can't make any sense of any of this at this point. The markets are so detached from reality. We got wars erupting all over the world. We're spending money hand over fist. There's no accountability for all the crimes that have been taking place. But let's get into some of these articles today. Give me your thoughts on this. Please comment down below. Fed holds rates steady as it notes rising uncertainty and stagflation risk. What are your thoughts on this? I think most of you probably thought that we would not get a rate cut today. We certainly did not. Markets reacted somewhat positive. Dow Jones was up 285, NASDAQ up 48. Now, we will give the markets the evening to digest all of this, and then we'll see how the markets feel tomorrow about what happened today, as Jerome Powell does not cut rates based on uncertainty and stagflation. One thing today I would like to add is that the news came out that the U.S. and China will be meeting, I think, on Saturday in Switzerland to talk about de-escalation of the trade war. Markets love this. It's good news. They'll take anything. And I think this is why, really, because I didn't get to see Jerome Powell speak today when he was being questioned by the media, but just some of the stuff that I've gathered with some of these articles, I don't think it was the greatest news. I think the markets wanted to hear something better, like, we're going to have a rate cut next month or the month after. And Jerome Powell did not announce that. But we did get the news that the U.S. and China will be meeting this weekend in China and talking about this trade war. And the markets like that. Dow Jones up 285. So, more of the rope-a-dope here, put a couple good words out there, and it's all good. Yet China, according to this article on CNBC, says U.S. asked for a trade meeting in Switzerland. They did not ask us. And it was presented today in the media that China asked us for the meeting, when now China is denying that, saying that we asked them for the meeting. So you can see this is not going to be easy. This could go on for quite a while, maybe months. We shall see. I don't know how this is going to play out. I really, really don't. There's just all this back and forth with the U.S. and China. Who's more dependent on who? We're going to probably find out. Fed rejects Trump calls to cut rates, warns of increased stagflationary uncertainty. The Fed said this: uncertainty has risen and tariffs hold the likelihood, both boosting inflation and hurting employment. Now, let me ask all of you this. Many of you may not be a fan of Jerome Powell. Maybe you are. Should he be cutting rates right now? I say no, and I don't think he should have been cutting rates under Sleepy Joe back in 2024. I don't think he should have done it then. I don't think he should be doing it now. In fact, I'm going to go against the grain here and say that I think Jerome Powell, if he had any sensibility right now, wanted to do the right thing, he would be raising rates. Yes, he would be raising rates. Inflation is absolutely out of control. You could throw all the data out the window. You all know when you go to buy a vehicle, you go to the grocery store, you're paying your health insurance, you're paying your home insurance, you're paying for a service, you are seeing inflation continuing to rise. So he cut for Sleepy Joe. He's not cutting for Trump. I don't think he should have cut then. I don't think he should cut now. I think he should have kept raising last year, and he should be raising right now. That's my opinion. Let me know your thoughts on this. It probably would be very, very devastating, but if he starts cutting rates and we get the printing presses fired back up, think about where inflation is going to go. Nothing has been fixed yet, and we're talking about cutting rates. Another one today: India, Pakistan, now in in a fight. I believe India struck Pakistan with 9 missiles, if I'm correct about that. Markets ignore this. By the way, both India and Pakistan have nuclear capability. And the markets continue to ignore quite a bit around the world. They're ignoring the U.S. economy, ignoring two nations here with nuclear capability. And now Pakistan is talking about retaliation. So we'll see what happens with that. More problems for the world to deal with. Here's another one. Used vehicle pricing barometer jumps to highest level since 2023 amid auto tariffs. More inflation. It's saying right here, the Automotive's Mannheim Used Vehicle Value Index up 4.9% year over year. This is extremely inflationary. And I gotta ask, nearly 3 million vehicles repossessed last year. Where are all these used cars? Why are we not seeing prices coming down? I think that this is being done on purpose. There's no reason with this many cars being repossessed daily that we're not seeing better used car prices. So I think people are just being absolutely fleeced here. I think there's price gouging going on. I think there's price gouging going on at a lot of the grocery stores, and it's probably going to continue. Bloomberg. Dollar exodus, $2.5 trillion avalanche of Asian sales. The dollar may face, okay, this is on Bloomberg, may face a $2.5 trillion avalanche as Asian countries unwind their stockpile of the world reserve currency, the US dollar, and it could put the dollar in a very, very vulnerable position. This would be extremely inflationary. And I think it's extremely important that every one of you is preparing to deal with inflation. I just don't see it going away anytime soon. Will we get shortages on the shelves? We're going to find out probably in the next couple weeks. If we do, that's going to be inflationary. So everything we're reading here, all the data that I'm seeing points to more inflation. By the way, gold down today, nice little pullback. I'm not sure what it's doing right now. Probably not a bad time to be looking at adding a little bit of metal to your portfolio. If you need help with that, go to my link down below, SD Bullion. You know, I just think that this stuff is extremely important. You got to have security, have the proper tools, make sure you're adding skill sets, make sure you're exercising situational awareness, make sure you have gold, you have silver, you have a cash reserve. Make sure you have all of this stuff, food, water, all of this. Again, if you need help, SD Bullion, link down below. But it just seems like literally every week, this stuff is more imperative than the week prior. It is so important to be putting this stuff away. If nothing happens, great. You have food, you have water, you have gold, you have silver, you have cash. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with being prepared? I know that there's haters out there, there's trolls out there that don't want you to be prepared because they're the most unprepared people. They're living their life daily in fear. I'm going to tell you right now, I sleep very, very good at night. Security on the property here is very, very tight. There's no debt. There's plenty of food. There's plenty of water. There's exit strategies. And so I sleep and my family sleeps pretty good at night. Nobody's worried about losing a job. Nobody's worried about going hungry. Nobody's worried about security. It's all taken care of here. So I think that the more prepared you are, the better you're going to sleep at night. I think it's better for your health. It's better for your sleep. It's better for your family. Don't be one of these people who, you know, just thinks you should be unprepared. It's doom and gloom. It's negative. You know, why are you preparing? Why are you putting food away? Why are you out training? Why are you out getting in better shape? These people are so scared now because they have absolutely nothing, and they're reading the writing on the wall now. They see exactly what is happening. Consumer debt jumps in March as student debt unexpectedly soars. Again, these are many of the type of people I'm talking about, the most unprepared, most debt-riddled people on planet Earth. who are telling you not to prepare. These are the most unprepared people and the most scared people, and they should be. They should be very scared because this collapse is it's gonna really shake people to the bones. Because if you are not prepared to deal with an economic collapse, and this is multidimensional, you can't just, oh, I have some cash put away, I'm fine, or I have some canned food put away, I'm fine. It's not going to work like that. You better know how to protect yourself, take care of yourself. You better have multiple types of money, like cash, like gold, like silver, barterable stuff, and you better be as debt-free as you can be. And you know what? Here's a great idea too. Have good credit, because you may come across some opportunities, some nice sales. Non-revolving credit jumped by $8.3 billion. Student loan debt, the moratorium for student loan debt is over, and now the mass defaults have begun. Now, my question to all of you is this. I'm a C- student, so I'm going to ask all of you this. Could this trigger the so-called recession, a recession we've been in for 2 years? Could this trigger a recession, that they would actually admit that we're in a recession? Will they have to blame this recession on something? Would it be the student loan debt? I personally believe we've been in a recession for over 2 years. Most of the media believes we're not in a recession yet, even though most people in this country are struggling. Most people are just riddled with debt. Most people have no money saved up. Most people are working 2 or 3 jobs, yet we're not in a recession. So will this be what they blame the recession on? $22 billion surge of debt in the first quarter of 2025 because of this. We now have $1.79 trillion of student loan debt in this country. Only 38% of the 42.7 million federal student loan borrowers were current. This is a catastrophe. And most of these young people's degrees are absolutely worthless. They got hoodwinked and bamboozled, and now they have a piece of paper that is pretty much worthless. And they're going to have to work a lot of part-time jobs to put a dent in this debt. And thank God you're not having to pay for this. CrowdStrike announces 5% job cut, says AI is reshaping every industry. It's another thing everybody's going to have to contend with is AI, robotics, technology. Everybody's going to have to contend with this. People working in warehouses, people driving trucks, even doctors. They're saying in just a few years, many doctors could be replaced by AI and these robotics who are going to do surgeries. So nobody is immune, ladies and gentlemen. Here's one from The Hedge today. Countdown to shortages, ? Last cargo ships from China arrive in U.S. ports. So again, are we going to see empty shelves, and will the empty shelves affect you? You watching this video today? By the way, if you enjoy this video, please give it a like. Make sure you're sharing these videos. Make sure you subscribe. Most people that watch my videos are not subscribed. So if you enjoy this and you want to share the truth, make sure you subscribe. At the end of the day, I think I'm going to be okay. We have plenty of food, water, I have plenty of shoes, plenty of socks, plenty of clothes. Don't forget, put a little extra food away for your dogs and your pets. Very important. I think I'll be okay. I think we have enough, big screen TVs. Overall, there may be some inconveniences here and there, but overall, I think we would be okay. And you have to ask yourself, how many shoes do you need? How many clothes do you need? How many TVs do you need? Do you need more electronics? How many more computers do you need? I think we're going to be okay. The question is to China is, how much food does China need? This could be a problem for China, is the food situation. But we're going to find out. We're going to find out. But I think overall, right now, day-to-day survival, I think, we'll be okay. But my concern is this country has gotten so weak. Can people live without a TV? Can they live without a cell phone? Can they live without these non-essential items that are so essential in these zombies' lives? I don't know. But people just don't like inconvenience here. We've been spoiled for so long. So we're going to find out how it goes. The terminal rot in corporate America, this on the Hedge Today, great article. A couple of the highlights here. The moral rot in corporate America goes unnoticed in a society in terminal moral decay. This is what concerns me again with this trade war with China, is the moral decay in America. We're weak, morally we're lost, and I just don't think most people are not, they just don't care about America. They really don't. A lot of people came to this country just to take stuff from it, just to get subsidies. There's people born and raised here that just dislike this country. So, as we get deeper into this trade war, we're going to see. Why should corporate fraud, profiteering, deception, and extortion attract our attention when self-service is the norm? We want things now. We want instant gratification now. This crony capitalism, these greedy corporate entities, want one thing. They have one goal. It's increase profits by any means available. They have no loyalty to you. They have no loyalty to this country. Another concern. And how many of these corporations now are controlled by China? U.S. corporations now that bend over backwards for China. One thing we haven't talked about in a long time is bunkers, people building bunkers. So many of these multi-$100 million plus CEOs, $1 billion plus CEOs, they're building bunkers all over the world because they're fearful because of what they've caused in this country, in the world. Think about all the trillions of dollars during the health crisis, that much of it went to corporate America, went to Wall Street. And people are starting to figure a little bit of this out. People are starting to get a little bit angry. And so you see these, multi-millionaires, billionaires building bunkers. Yet the average person thinks that that's funny. That's overkill. Why would somebody do that? That's a conspiracy theory. That's just crazy. Yet these people are doing it. They don't think it's crazy. They're fearful of something really erupting in this country and throughout the globe. And they're not going to stick around. They're going to be underground hiding from it. China unveils world's first meltdown-proof thorium reactor. People are really underestimating China. Chinese scientists achieved a breakthrough in clean energy technology by adding fresh fuel to an operational thorium reactor located in the Gobi Desert. The experimental reactor uses molten salt as the coolant and fuel carrier, with thorium as the fuel source. Now, we were testing this out. We were doing tests like this back in the 1960s. We made it publicly available for the right successor to pick up and move forward with this technology. And I guess the right successor did it. It's China. The country that, people are underestimating, the country that, literally 50 years ago, half the country was in the dark because they didn't have electricity. The country that just a couple years ago caused the entire global economy to shut down. That country, the country with the biggest military, biggest navy, 4 biggest banks, biggest gold holdings, biggest manufacturer, that country, the country that we are underestimating and just believe they're no threat to America. You better wake up and you better smell the coffee, America. Satellite images uncover China's buildup in Cuba, triggering U.S. spy concerns. This on the Hedge Today. Just a stone's throw from Havana. There are fears of covert surveillance operations targeting the U.S. Satellite images are showing a suspected antenna array at Cuba's Bajucal signal site. The antenna could zero in on radio signals 3,000 to 8,000 miles away, putting the U.S. military and Washington, D.C. within range. Now, I reported just a few days ago that China is building a 1,000 acre underground military base. So we better wake up and realize that China is an enormous threat to America, and their technology is rivaling, if not surpassing, our technology. You know, the fires that we had in LA County months back, we can't even get a house built right now. I mean, they're still clearing debris. We're going through, you know, all the bureaucracy, all the red tape. It's costing a lot of money for people to rebuild a house. I haven't seen one house rebuilt yet. We're still in the clearing phase. And yet you look at what China's doing. And we need a permit. We need a license for everything. We need an okay. We can't even build a house in this country. We just had the other day, what was it? Our radar system went down for like 90 seconds at one of these airports. Planes are flying around. Luckily, multiple planes did not collide. 1,000-acre military bases. Unbelievable. MSM. Another Navy jet falls into the sea. Another, I believe it was an F-18, $60 million plane, 9:45 Tuesday, 9:45 p.m. Tuesday. A second Navy jet from the USS Harry S. Truman aircraft carrier has been lost at sea from the carrier in just 8 days. So that's $120 million in 8 days. The pilot and weapons system officer forced to eject after the tailhook failed to catch the stopping wire. Do you think, you know, China, Russia, and the world is watching this and reading the same articles I'm reading? I mean, this is really becoming embarrassing. And let's not forget that aircraft carrier, I believe in January, hit a merchant ship. So we have all this technology. These ships literally have the technology to detect a shoebox 30 miles away in the ocean. And we're running into merchant ships. F-18s are falling off the carrier. Not a good sign. It really, really is not. This isn't a good sign either. Midwest city's downtown is now Mad Max-style hellhole where locals are scared to go out after 8 p.m. Where is this? It's beautiful Kansas City. Kansas City, of all places. I'm watching some of the videos of this, and a Kansas City police officer is trying to stop somebody on an ATV on a public road, on a public street, tries to stop this guy, and the guy runs him over with an ATV, and the officer is just laying there unconscious. You got people riding dirt bikes. I see these like gangs of dirt bikes on these city roads. You got people doing drag racing, street takeovers. This is all happening on these public roads in Kansas City. And so you have hundreds of people or more showing up for these street takeovers and the street races and, you know, dirt bike races on city roads. And so the average person in Kansas City does not want to be in this mess. They're not going out. They're staying home. They're not going to the restaurants. They're not going out because they're fearful of this mentality of people taking over the streets in Kansas City. This country, you talk about moral decay, there's another example of it right here. We can't even control our streets at this point. Kansas City, we're not talking New York, Chicago, or LA, we're talking Kansas City. It's getting really, really bad out there. Here's another one today, blackouts, 162% inflation. Remind Venezuelans of worst of crisis. So power shortages, 162% inflation. I want to remind all of you, Venezuela, back in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, even 80s, was one of the wealthiest, if not wealthiest countries in South America. But what happened was bad economic policy and lots and lots and lots of money printing. Kind of reminds you of what's happening today. You think the people back in the 1950s and 60s in Venezuela, when it was one of the most successful, strong economies in South America, wealthiest economies, do you think the people back then said, oh, wow, yeah, we're going to have 162% inflation one day? You think they ever thought it would get bad? Probably most of them never thought it would, but it did. Could you imagine 162% inflation? All countries get to this point by doing the same thing, printing lots and lots of money. Now it's extremely dangerous. I mean, think about America. Are we heading in that direction? We're a dangerous nation. You can't even go to dinner in Kansas City because you don't want to get run over by an ATV. We're becoming a very unsafe, dangerous nation, moral decay, very divided. Inflation keeps creeping up. And what do we want to do? We want to cut interest rates and print money. The same thing that got us into the mess, that's our cure. That's the answer to all this. Let's go back to what caused it all. Let's lower interest rates and print lots of money, and that'll fix it. That is going to get us to Venezuela. I'm going to leave it there today. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. I really appreciate you tuning in today. God bless and take care. Be safe out there.